Welcome to PhilotiMaths, fighting problems one step at a time.
Welcome to PhilotiMaths. In this video we're going to see how to expand double brackets using the FOIL method. Let's have a look at an example. So in this example we have been asked to multiply x plus 2 by x plus 3. What we have to remember is that when we have two pairs of brackets next to each other, there is actually an invisible times between them. Now, how do we proceed? We have actually been asked to multiply all of the terms in the first pair of brackets with all of the terms in the second pair of brackets. And the way to represent this is by joining them all with the lines I will draw right here. So we have two lines coming out of the x and two lines coming out of the 2, joining them to the terms in the second pair of brackets. Now these lines mean multiplication. So let's go ahead and multiply x by x. X times x simply equals x squared. And then we have x times plus 3. That is simply equal to plus 3x. Let's continue with the 2. So we have plus 2 times x. That is simply equal to plus 2x. And finally, we have plus 2 times plus 3. Well, that's simply equal to plus 6. Now, let's have a look at these middle terms here. You see we have 3 lots of x plus 2 lots of x. So we can collect like terms here because 3 lots of x plus 2 lots of x will give us 5 lots of x. Therefore, the answer here will be equal to x squared plus 5x plus 6. So the expanded version of the double brackets we've been given is x squared plus 5x plus 6. So in this example, we have been asked to multiply y plus 3 by y minus 1. Now remember, there is an invisible times between the two pairs of brackets. Let's proceed again with drawing all the lines that we are going to use that will represent our multiplication between the terms in the first pair of brackets and the terms in the second pair of brackets. So we have y times y. That is simply y squared. Now what is y times minus 1? Y times minus 1 is minus 1y, or simply minus y. Then we continue with plus 3 times y. Now that is simply equal to plus 3y. And finally we have plus 3 times minus 1. The answer here is minus 3. Now if we have a quick look at the terms in the middle, we have minus y plus 3y. Remember, this means minus 1 lot of y plus 3 lots of y, which means that will give us plus 2 lots of y if we put these together. So the answer is actually equal to y squared plus 2y minus 3. So the expanded form of the double brackets they have given us is y squared plus 2y minus 3. Okay, so in this example we have been asked to multiply 2w minus 3 by w plus 1. Let's not forget that between the two pairs of brackets we've got an invisible times. Now let's start with drawing all the lines that will represent multiplying the terms in the first pair of brackets with the terms in the second pair of brackets. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. Okay, so let's start with multiplying 2w by w. Now remember, w times w is w squared. Therefore 2w times w will simply be 2w squared, which is w squared with a 2 in front of it. Let's continue with 2w times plus 1. Now that is simply plus 2w. Let's continue with minus 3 times w. Now that is simply minus 3w. And finally we have minus 3 times plus 1. Now that is going to be equal to minus 3. Now let's have a look at these middle terms. 2w minus 3w, they are both like terms. They both have w. So we can put them together. Now what is 2w take away 3w? That's simply minus 1w or minus w. Therefore the final answer here will be 2w squared minus w minus 3. So the final answer here, the expanded form of the brackets we've been asked to expand here, is 2w squared minus w minus 3. So in this final example, we have been asked to multiply 3a minus 1 by 2a minus 5. Once again, remember, there's an invisible times between the two pairs of brackets. Let's get started with the lines that will represent our multiplication between the terms in the first pair of brackets and the terms in the second pair of brackets. So, how do we multiply 3a with 2a? Let's start with the numbers. What is 3 times 2? Now that is simply 6. Now what is a times a? Now that is simply a squared. Therefore the answer for the first multiplication is 6a squared. Let's continue with 3a times minus 5. So this is a positive times a negative, so the answer will be negative. Now let's have a look at the numbers. 3 times 5 is 15. So 3a times 5 will be 15a. Now let's continue with multiplying minus 1 by 2a. Now once again, we've got a negative number multiplied by something positive, so the answer will be negative. And what is 1 times 2a? Now that is simply 2a. Therefore here we've got minus 2a. And finally, we've got minus 1 times minus 5. Now we know minus times minus and negative times a negative makes it positive. Therefore the answer here will be plus, and 1 times 5 is simply 5. Now let's have a look at these middle terms, which are like terms because they both contain a. Now how do we do minus 15a minus 2a? Now that is simply minus 17a. Therefore the final answer will be 6a squared minus 17a plus 5. So this is the expanded form of the double brackets we've been asked to expand here. This was a short lesson on expanding double brackets.
Have you suffered from a maths-related injury in the last 4 months?
You're in the right channel. Welcome to PhilotiMaths! Testing.
Yeah, that's good, I think.
Hello! Howdy! Right. X squared plus 5x plus 6. And we can put that in a box to make it clear that this is our answer. And I will start again because unfortunately I haven't left enough space for my solution here, which makes me an idiot. Boo! Now let's start with the first term, the first black. Oh god. Boo!